Hello, this is Mary from PaperView Crafting, and today I've got another little Mother's Day gift for you, or actually you can give it at any time. It's a little box with a window front, and inside it says, "Hey there Cupcake," because we have a little cupcake made with a face cloth. So we've used the Blackberry Bliss, which is absolutely beautiful and is here. It's one of the in colours that came out in the catalogue last year, but it's going to last until 2016, so it's a really good time to get into it. It's going to last you a long time if you invest in this one. So it's Blackberry Bliss, and the paper that I've used in here, and I will be using but a different version, is this beautiful paper, which, oh sorry, just coming out, which is the Painted Blooms paper and is in the latest catalogue, and it is full of the most delicious papers in the most beautiful colours, and it's very versatile because it has some big prints, it has some little prints, so you can use it some almost plain stripes. Look at that, I mean, that's just beautiful. It looks like the sky looks today, which is quite stormy actually. But anyway, enough of the weather here in the UK. Let's get started with this this little gift then. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap up the face cloth so that it looks like a cupcake, and then we'll make the box for it to go into. So let's put that to one side. So we've got our face cloth. It's just an ordinary square face cloth. You can choose any colour you like, and then you can use any colours of cardstock or paper or anything to coincide with that and coordinate. So, okay, fold it into a quarter, fold the tip down, and then fold it down again. And there it is, our little napkin. And then we're just going to start rolling it. And you really want to have the middle showing a bit so that it gets the sort of shape of a cupcake and the icing on a cupcake. So there we are. Just make sure that should be okay. So to make the wrapper, to make the cupcake case, I'm using the Painted Blooms, and I've chosen this one, which I think is predominantly rose red. It's absolutely gorgeous, but it goes beautifully with the Blackberry Bliss. And I've cut this at 7x2, but don't worry about any of the sizes because I'll put them all on my blog and a link below so that you can have a look at those. Just don't worry about that at all. Now, if you were sensible, you would have one of our border cutters, a scalloped border punch, but I don't have that one, so I am using my scoreboard, and I'm using my Simply Scored border plates. So it comes with a plate that slips on top of your scoreboard and a plastic guide. And what I'm going to do is this is the one that I want to use. So I'm just going to pop my, sorry, it's difficult. I usually stand up when I craft and I find it really difficult doing things sitting down. So, right, get your scoring tool, and then all we're going to do is we're going to follow the score lines. Hang on, I've got the wrong one on. I'm not showing you very well, am I? There we go. Follow my score lines. You might just have to hold. So if you press quite hard, you almost cut through. Right, now that will give you a guide to cut along. But that, I think, is the easiest way of doing it if you don't have a border punch. But if you have a border punch, I'll put the link to it below. It's going to be the simplest way of doing it. And then all you have to do is cut out along your score lines, and it gives you that lovely scalloped edge that you get on a cupcake. The good thing about using the border plates is that there are lots of different designs. So if you wanted to do something more unusual, then you could do. But there we go. That's our cupcake wrapper. So all you have to do is put a little bit of snail on one end, like that, and then decide where the front of your cupcake is going to be. Pop that in the middle of your wrapper, and then just wrap this round like that. And there it is, your cupcake wrapper. Cool, so now we're going to make a little label to go on it. And the stamp set I've used is this one. It's called Num Num, and it's from the main catalogue, I think, and it is just so useful. It's got all sorts on it, and lots of things coordinate with our punches and with our die cuts. So we're going to use Hey There Cupcake because that's fitting, and then for the label we're going to use Just a Little Something for You, which is one of my favourites because I really love the font on that. So I've mounted up the Hey There Cupcake stamp, sorry, just realising that it's not quite central. Not that it really makes a huge amount of difference for this. And we just need a piece of Whisper White card, and this I've just realised is not plain Whisper White. This one's got a rather nice back, so I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this one. So just, there we go. Doesn't matter if it's had lots of work on it already. And in order to get the pretty effect here, like I have on this one, I'm going to use Stampin' Right markers instead of using inks. These will coordinate with all of our inks, and you can buy the Blackberry Bliss in a set with all the other ink colours, and that's a really useful way of doing it because then you get lots of lovely useful colours. Now some of these colours aren't actually in the Painted Blooms paper, but because I'm using neutrally shades, I'm going to use these just to make it look a bit prettier. So I'm using the Blackberry Bliss, the I think that's Strawberry Slush, Blushing Bride, which is in the DSP, and Pear Pizzazz because that's one of my favourite greens, and it just gives it a little lift. So all we have to do is take our markers and use the brush end. A lot of you will know this already, but for those of you who don't, this is a really easy way of getting a more interesting stamp. So let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so using the brush end, because all our markers have got a brush end and a pen end, just using the side of the brush, colour the bit that you want to be in the colour that you've got in your hand. So this is Blackberry Bliss, and I want the writing and the edge of the stamp to be in Blackberry Bliss. Okay, then same technique with the Strawberry Slush. I want my little heart to be a pretty colour, so I'm just colouring the heart with that one, the side of the brush, and it's amazing how much control you can get with that. Then with the Pear Pizzazz brush end again, I'm going to do the little cupcake case. And then with the Blushing Bride, I'm going to colour in the icing top of my little cupcake. Now, if you're icing, see, I'm getting into cupcake mode. If your ink, that's the word, has dried somewhat, all you have to do is breathe on this. So just huff, and it should moisten it again. And then all you have to do, stamp. It's easy as that. I just had a horrible thought that I might have actually stamped too close to the edge of my paper, but we'll see how it goes. So I've got the 1 3/4 inch scallop punch. Oh, I'm just going to get away with it. So let's do it as evenly as possible. Cut it out. And then using the rose red ink, which is actually the colour of my little wrap. I'm just going to colour up the edges of my label. There it is. Hey there, Cupcake. And then I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals on this. Ooh, the weather's closing in. Typical March. And then to just pop that on there. So there's our little cupcake face cloth ready for its packaging. So we can hold on to the markers. We'll need them again in a little while. I'll just zoom out a little bit. And now we're going to make the box. And what we're going to need to make the box is a piece of your chosen cardstock. And as I said, this is Blackberry Bliss. And this measures 8 inches by 6 inches. And then we need a window sheet to make the top of the box, the window lid. And that's cut at 6 inches by 4 inches. So we need the scoreboard without the border plates in it. And we're going to start with the base of the box. So if we bring the scoreboard in, and with the long side, we're going to score it at 2 inches and 6 inches. And then we're going to turn it onto the 6-inch side and score it at 2 inches and 4 inches. And it's as simple as that. I'll put the scoreboard away for now, and we're just going to burnish these score lines. It's just a really simple box, but the window makes it just that little bit nicer. So on the shorter side, we're going to cut up and just slice in a little bit so that we get a better fit. So on both sides, shave a little tiny bit of these edges, just makes it look better. And we're just going to cut some off the top of the middle section just so that it folds a bit nicer, because it's quite a lot of card to stick in. There you go, it's simple as that. So we'll do the same down the other side. So we're going to cut up and in. Shave off a tiny bit, and on this side cut off some of this middle section and shape that as well. There we go, and we'll get rid of all of that rubbish because we don't need that. And then I'm going to use fast fuse just so that it holds it a bit better. So the box is going to fold in like this. So we can put fast fuse on both of these. Actually, it's easier to turn it over on both of these. We'll just put a section on each. That'll just keep it safely tucked in. And then 2 of these. And then all you do is you fold it in on itself and just line it up nicely. And there's your little box to pop your cupcake face cloth in. As simple as that. And so now we just need to make the window lid to go on the top of it. So this is our window sheet, and this, as I said, is cut at 6 by 4. Now, to make it slightly smaller so that it fits neatly on the top of the box, you need to cut it at a slightly different size to the top, score it rather. And I actually find it easier to use my paper trimmer and use the scoring blade on the paper trimmer, because what we need to do is do it all the way around at 15/16. I think that's right. No, it's not, is it? It's 7/8. So it's easier to do it on here, and you need to be quite firm to get it to bend properly. So it's the little notch just before the 1 inch, the 7/8. I mean, you will fold it and burnish it. It's hailing now. It's got really noisy. I'm so sorry. It's great British weather. 1 minute the sun's shining and the next minute you've got hail. Yes, never a dull moment here in the UK. So just bend it over and reinforce those score lines. And if you do this now, it's difficult to see in this light. I'm sorry, I can't even see. But if you do this now, then you'll get a better finish. And it will sit in your box better. Okay, so we can get rid of these 4 corners. Somehow I've bent it wrong, haven't I? It's because I can't see right. I started off in the right position and then veered off course. That's better. So we're going to get rid of the 4 corners. Like that. And then we're going to just shape them a little bit, so just chip in a little bit. The window sheets tend to have a lot of static, so they end up stuck to you. So just be aware. There we go. Yep, it's all stuck to my fingers. And then using the Project Life corner punch, you can get a nicer finish on them if you just use the corner punch to take the edge off the corners. Just rounds it off, makes it slightly less sharp. It doesn't have to be too exact because, well, to be honest, it's not so easy to get into the punch and it's not so easy to see, but it does create a nicer finish and it is worth the time just to do this. Nearly there. And the last one here. This is a really useful little punch, and there we go. Put that out the way. Okay, so now we've made the little lid, we're going to pop it on top of our cupcake box like this. go. Cupcake's throwing it up somewhat today. Just have a fiddle with it until you get a nice finish. Oops, I seem to have... Right, there we go. So now we can decorate it. So I've got some Blushing Bride ribbon. This is the cotton ribbon, and it's a really pretty width. It's useful, and it's a lovely colour. It doesn't quite go with my face cloth, but I just thought it was nice to bring in the other colour instead of it all being the same. So using the sentiment from the Num Num stamp set, I've mounted it on one of our clear blocks, and I'm going to use the same technique that I did for the other stamp. So we're going to use our Stampin' Right markers and some Whisper White cardstock. So same technique, use the Blackberry Bliss to pick out the colours that you want. There we go, and then the rest I'm going to use the Blushing Bride for. It's a very delicate colour, the Blushing Bride, but it does go nicely because it's part of this paper stack. So, okay, I seem to have got a glue dot on the back of my stamp, so we'll get rid of that. Quick huff to make sure that the ink is damp again. There we go. And then we're going to use the note, is this the note tag punch? Yes, the note tag punch, which came out in our Christmas catalogue, I think, and is really useful. There are lots of new stamp sets that coordinate with this, so we're just going to use that to cut ourselves a little note tag. And then just use the rose red again around the edge, just to finish it off and make it look a little less white. And I think what we'll do is we'll make a little, because this ribbon is lovely and narrow, we can make a little bow to go up in the corner. Whilst the ink dries on our tag. Cute. Just cut the excess away. And then we'll just use a glue dot on here. I always get in such a mess with glue dots. Oh, let's do it this way around. We'll put it on the back of the bow instead. There we go. And then we've got our, it's not sitting very well. I think it needs a bit of a play, but you do, you take as long as you want to on it and you'll be able to get a better finish. And then we're just going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of our tag. And then there we go, and that's it. Oh, actually, I think we'll put some bling on it before we go. I've got some Sattle's Candy Dots, which have got the Blushing Bride on them as well. So if we take one of those, we can pop that on the tag. Better probably to do this before you put it on. Put another one on the bottom there. That's pretty. So there it is. my little box for cupcakes, for making a cupcake face cloth. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll give it a go, and I look forward to seeing the results. So thanks very much for stopping by, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.